So our presentation is over narcolepsy, and narcolepsy is the condition characterized by the extreme tendency to fall asleep whenever you are exposed to relaxing surroundings. Today, 1 out of every 2,000 people are exposed to narcolepsy, so it's a rather rare disease. And someone who has it, when you're stimulated by a strong level of emotions such as happiness, sadness, arousal, your body can fall into a state of sleep, and a lot of times this is paired with cataplexy, which is the collapsing of the body. The disease narcolepsy is associated with the malfunctioning of the orexin system, which Leanne is about to dive into further in detail.
Alrighty, so in this part, I'm going to talk about the transduction pathways, but I'm also going to talk about how it should work so we can better understand why it's not working in the malfunctioning system. So when the orexin system is functioning normally, the CEA is receiving strong emotional signals. And the CEA, if you kind of look over here at this picture, it's kind of small, but it is what our receptor is in this specific system. So it's receiving strong emotional signals from the PFC or VTA, and this causes the CEA to send signals that inhibits part of the brainstem regions. So the PFC and the VTA are neurons that are sending these positive emotions to the CEA. And whenever it receives those positive emotions, it blocks more signals that are going to the VLPAG, LPT, DR, and the LC, which are also neurons that send signals to the brain that causes like stimulation and awakefulness and all that wonderful stuff. But whenever the orexin in a normal system binds to the CEA, this will send positive emotions that counteract the inhibition of the CEA. So that means that everything's kind of in balance and everything is functioning normally. So, give me just 1 second. So at the same time this process is happening in a functioning awake adult, signals from the LC and DR, which are neurons that are responsible for arousal, sensory stimulation, and they inhibit neurons in the SDL. And the SDL is responsible for the relaxing of muscles. So this means in a normal human, when awake, all muscles are active and responsive because the neurons in the SDL are not able to function due to the inhibition caused by the stimulating neurons in the LC and the DR. But in narcolepsy patients, this is the system that malfunctions, and there's a loss of orexin due to the brain destroying the orexin secreting cells. The binding orexin is essential in order to stay awake and keep the muscles engaged in the body in order to not collapse. So whenever orexin does not bind to the CEA in the brain, there is no balance of the signal, so there's only the inhibition of the CEA going to the VLPAG, LPT, DR, and LC. So we said that those are responsible for the stimulation. So this kind of shuts down the brain and you're not able to really respond at all. So because there's no orexin to offset the signals in the CEA, the only signal that the VLPAG, LPT, and LC and DR are the inhibitory signals that cause these neurons to stop sending signals to the SDL. Now remember that the SDL is what causes relaxation. So in the normal brain, the signals sent to the SDL by the VLPG, the LPT, and the LC and DR inhibit the SDL, meaning that the muscles stay engaged and do not relax. But without those signals, the SDL is fully engaged. The SDL then sends signals to the GABA-glycine, which are neurotransmitters that passes the signal of relaxation and sleep to the motor neurons, causing a complete shutdown of the brain and muscles. The shutting down of the brain is the narcolepsy, and the collapsing of the muscles is the cataplexy. When this happens frequently, the muscle tone in one's body is significantly reduced, causing other problems in the body. So all of that is kind of described in this picture over here. And then the whole pathway is laid out in our poster right over here. Now Cole is going to talk a little bit more about the correct and the faulty mechanism.
Okay, yes, so basically this is just summing up what Leanne said. When functioning normally, orexin will bind to the CEA, which is the G protein receptor that orexin does bind to. This binding causes a cascade of events to occur, and that's what's going to keep the body awake and functioning. When a patient has narcolepsy, what is happening is that the brain stops producing the orexin, which is the ligand in this particular cell transduction pathway. The brain is going to send signals to the orexin system telling the orexin producing cells that, hey, we don't need this anymore. So when this happens, there's no longer a ligand to bind to the CEA, and therefore there's no response given. And so when that happens, the person that has this disease is going to become unresponsive, and they're going to fall asleep and have these random collapses.
Yeah. And do you want to talk about where the research is going?
I sure will. Okay. So our direction of research, it's not on our poster yet, but it will be. So over the past 10 years, researchers have made great advances in understanding the underlying biology of narcolepsy, and this research is leading to new and more efficient treatments. Programs are investigating ways to increase brain levels of histamine, which is a wake-promoting neurotransmitter, and other laboratories are developing methods to restore hypocretin, which is orexin signaling in the brain.
Awesome. So this is Narcolepsy, and it's your girl Leanne and your boy Cole coming at you.